Hey!
This is JJ and Alex.
I made a name for myself. I told you I won't be denied.
As you wrap up your day, it's time to get your fix of the teams you live for and the sports you love. This is JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome on in, everybody. Happy 3 o'clock hour to you. Thanks for being with us on the program. JJ and Alex, 97.5 KSL Sports Zone. Oh, my goodness. This is why I love the Olympics. Now, the Olympics are not hot radio talk, but just bear with me here. Don't we have that, not Freebird. We know Freebird. Because I left home with low expectations, JJ.
Why?
Team USA was down. There were 8 minutes.
You didn't believe?
Team USA is down 1-0 to Canada. And I told you yesterday, I couldn't remember if I said it on the air or off the air. I go, watch Canada sandbagging us in that first round. Like, oh, you beat us 5-0. Whoops.
I think they kind of sandbagged.
I still think they did. Because as I'm watching it, I'm going, oh, my goodness. These guys are the ones who win most of the world championships. And these are the guys. Our team's nice. No, it's a nice story. And they're obviously – it's 1A, 1B, and flop them around from year to year. But this is what it sounded like in overtime. They got a goal from Hillary Knight to send it to overtime. And then this is what the sound of gold sounds like.
The outlet pass for Keller, a defenseman. Nice move, cuts to the net, score! Megan Keller, the overtime hero, the United States, wins gold and belong!
Freebird. You heard it in the stadium. Freebird started going. That wasn't you just plugging it in. That's what's great.
It's time to strike it up, though. It's time to strike it up. It's time to celebrate.
Why wouldn't we, man? Because I'm
What a goal. What a win.
What a win. I'll just
We have
say,
the best female hockey team in the world. Nobody's better.
You did it without knowing it. You're all, what a win.
What a win.
I will
Absolutely great performance.
Playing this music is great, too, because it's two things. Man, we need Team USA, the men's team, to show up and deliver a gold as well. It would be awesome. It would be a great cap on this thing. But if you watch the final goal of the game from Megan Keller, no relation to Clayton, in case you're wondering. But Megan Keller puts the type of move she put on is the one that you see in a movie that's a hockey movie that Hollywood plays. She gets it. She does this crazy, crazy backhanded deke to get the defender to bite, and then puts it backhanded into the goal underneath the goalie, and that was it. The golden goal. I love the golden goal format. It's just, I don't care what sport it is. The walk-off is just fun. You know what I mean? So
incredible. Golden goal. Gold for USA.
This is why I say
USA.
Come on.
USA. 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 USA.
Makes me feel good. Plus, taking home gold in the women's singles for figure skating. And, man, Amber Glenn had a great day, but she ended up finishing fifth because of how bad she was in the free skate. I love how we talk about this stuff like this is normal. That's what I'm saying. The Olympics do this to us. These are sports you never follow, really. I mean, we just aren't following the women's national hockey team, except for these every 4 years. Sometimes
That's why
at the World
this
Championships.
is a special event. It happens once every 4 years. That's why it matters so much.
I just mentioned the women's singles figure skating competition. Yeah, so look, it was a good afternoon for Team USA, man. Great job. All right. Whew. Man, it's just exciting. I'm feeling the Freebird spirit over here, man. Love
Goosebumps watching that goal in was awesome.
Yeah, like I said,
great sports moment.
And these, by the way,
unless you live in Canada.
But these two teams, I definitely had to go and watch reaction videos of people who are Canadian fans. That's what I do. I seek out the awesome ones, the fans going wild. But then I also want to kind of go over and see, how's that feel, buddy? Want to watch a couple of those live streams of somebody who saw it live and reacted, and they're from Canada, and it was devastation.
That'd be like in basketball watching Serbia hit a buzzer beater to win gold over the United States in the Summer Olympic
really would be.
Games.
That's a great comp because
Canada hockey's hockey's Canada's sport.
Right. Yeah. And
They've owned Olympic hockey.
you just expect them to get gold almost every time. But I think these two teams, I don't know how many times they've met up in the last, it's been the last like 6 Olympics or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they like playing one another. Canada has come out on top more often than not. So, good for them. Loving it. Let's get the show started off here, though. We've got tons going on the program today. Full program, fully decked out. I watched this basketball game last night, and I was pleasantly surprised by the effort, and we knew it was going to be this way from BYU. But there was never really a point that you felt like BYU was in this thing against Arizona. That's where we're going to start the show off right here. Let's kick it off at the cut, top of the show. All right, so BYU right now 1-6 against top 25 teams this season. And AJ DeBonsa, phenomenal night. You said it best, JJ, when you got in here about AJ DeBonsa's performance and how well he did last night. And it's great to be good. It's better to win when you have that type of talent on your team. And I think what was the way you put it? That guy was obviously the best player on the court.
He was.
But that ain't enough.
It's not the best team, and that's clear.
Alex Napolis, our producer, rolled out maybe the most stark, the 100% reason why this team will not likely repeat what they did last year and go to the Sweet 16. Certainly not at this rate. And missing Richie Saunders, obviously, is devastating. And it feels even more so when you hear this stat. BYU last year was 15th nationally in bench points per game. 30 a game they relied on. When you're 15th in the country, you are relying on these guys coming off the bench and scoring. And we listed off the sharpshooters that you said that BYU doesn't have anymore, right? And
Dallin Hall as well.
Dallin Hall as well. Dawson Baker shows up. Gets kicked out of games sometimes, but but you know, those guys would come in off the bench and they'd make some points. And that was 15th nationally at 30 a game. BYU scores 11.8 points per game this season, which ranks them 351st in the country. If you're doing your math right, there are only 350-something Division I basketball teams that can compete to be in the NCAA tournament. So it is abysmal, and it is a roster construction that I think all of us know now is not a way that you're going to get to the Elite Eight or the Final Four, and probably not even to the Sweet 16 at this rate. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be mean about this. Look, kudos to Arizona. Tommy Lloyd built a freaking roster. And when you're 7 or 8 deep, even when you have guys who are banged up a little bit, it doesn't matter because the depth is the thing. Ask BYU last year. The depth was the reason they did it. They got so many great performances. And so it's heartbreaking because of the Richie Saunders thing. And then you get the best play out of your phenom freshman who on a night that he passes up Danny Ainge for the most points scored by a freshman at BYU on the basketball team. That's a phenomenal stat, and it's tough to watch because it's his last year at BYU, and it might not be enough to even get you past the round of 64 or even certainly not 32 at this rate.
Yeah, the BYU box score is tough to look at. You did get some positive production out of Kennard Davis Jr., 10 points, hit a three-pointer, 5 of 5 from the foul line, so it was a good night for Kennard Davis. But you have A.J. DeBonsa with 35, Kennard Davis with 10, Rob Wright only 13. Nobody else on the roster scored more than 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 players that saw minutes last night didn't score at all. That's not a winning combination, and that is the reality for BYU right now. It's tough. Now, is it all on injuries? I mean, you certainly make that case, and I think that we've talked to a lot of people. We talked to Jonathan Tavernari, who follows this team and this program as closely as anybody does, and has more passion for this program than anybody I know. And he's looking at the rosters like, where are the guys? There's just not enough firepower. There's not enough guys contributing and making points. There's guys that are supposed to be making and taking threes that aren't taking them. Tyler Maruss last night, 1 3-point attempt in 7 minutes. Alexei Kostic, 1 3-point attempt in 13 minutes. Who's shooting the threes?
They
went 5 of 19 from 3 in the year 2026.
It's tough because
Can't do that.
Richie was good for 7 a game.
That's
right?
that was your sharpshooter.
To take 7 a game.
That was your sniper. It was Richie. And even that wasn't enough, in my opinion.
Nope.
But you had enough from the big 3 in different ways. And obviously, AJ's not a guy that's going to go out there and light it up from 3. He took 6 threes, made 2 of them. That's okay. Rob Wright, 2 of 5 from 3. That's okay. That's what you'd expect from those 2. But you can't have these guys that were brought in to do one specific thing not even trying to do that thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, don't those guys have to put up 3 or 4? That's what you do. That's why you're on this roster. And you're not even getting the attempts. That's what was stunning to me. So 6-3, doing the math in my head, 6 and 8, 14 of the 19 3-point attempts were by DeBonsa, Davis, and Wright. So there was Mihailo Boskovic, who was in the starting lineup, went 0 of 3 from 3, 0 points. Mihailo Boskovic is a veteran player who played a key role in this team last year. Another guy, one of those guys that contributed off the bench last year, one of the best benches in the country. And 11 minutes, 0 of 3. Like, the improvement hasn't been there. They're just not going to get enough out of this roster. And the front court isn't rebounding at high enough rate. There's a lot of flaws, is my point. And I think that's pretty obvious. But it's frustrating that they had all these flaws despite the injuries. Teams get injuries. And I know BYU's had more than their fair share. But you've got to build a roster that can overcome some of that. Arizona was banged up last night, too. No excuse. They went out there and they got great production off the bench. Anthony Del Orso had 22 points, 4 of 8 from 3. BYU didn't have a guy that did that. And if they did have a guy that could do that, that game would have been a battle down to the end. But it was never a battle. It was never within more than – it was never less than 10 the whole way it felt.
Felt like it was 14 most of the game.
It was 42-35 at half, okay? Yeah. So that's a 7-point lead at half. It was even at half in the second half. But it never really got any closer than that. And it's disappointing. But you also understand why this BYU team is in this position. Now, back to what I said originally, is it just the injuries? Do you blame the injuries and it's bad luck and you just move on from that and accept that this year just wasn't in the cards because of the bad luck? Even though you had a once-in-a-generation player on this team that's only going to be here for a year? Or was there a roster-building issue here? And only BYU can answer that, and they're going to have to figure that out in the offseason. But I'm looking at the production from a lot of these guys, and it's clear that they got the wrong guys here.
That is a tough thing to say out loud, considering where this team was at the beginning. Well, where the team was since the commitment of A.J. DeBonsa to the team officially.
Right.
It's been a countdown of when are they going to get to the Final Four. And I've always hated that people were like, well, it's Final Four, boss. And I'm always like, what? There's no team that can – like, Kentucky is nowhere near that. You know, this is like and that's its whole other thing. But I'm saying I don't care who it is. These teams who have these phenoms can't just put themselves in that. Now, those are fan expectations. Their fan expectations are, not reality usually, ever. But
another thing to note about team building nowadays, back in the one-and-done era, when you had a lot of the one-and-dones at Duke and Kentucky and those schools, when there was no NIL, they were getting the best players every year. So they would have a lot of those one-and-dones, but they would stack it with some of those other good players that weren't quite ready for the NBA. Nowadays, you have guys staying in the college game because the money's there. And BYU's facing some teams that are veteran, and they've got grown men on their team. So the idea that a freshman is going to be able to come in and be the difference and get you to a national championship game, obviously now you're looking back on that and saying the expectations were probably way too high. Even with the roster they had, to be honest. I think you can't underestimate the impact that Richie Saunders had on this team's success.
Yeah.
And then you lose him, and all of a sudden, AJ's incredible. But you see just how much of a vacuum exists now without Richie there. And last night was a good example of that. Now, we're being pretty tough on this team because the expectations were so high. The effort was great. We're not questioning the team's effort
You knew there's a lot of emotion. We knew that was going to be the case.
And I'm criticizing some of these guys that they didn't shoot the ball and whatever. I don't know what the game plan was or what their specific role was, but you're looking at a box score, you just expect more. The box score isn't rating effort, and I'm watching the game. They gave effort. That team fought their tails off last night down in Tucson. That's not an easy place to win or play. But the facts are the facts. You're looking at the production and looking at the entire roster, and it's just not enough. There's not enough production from a lot of guys, especially off that bench. When you only get 6 points off the bench, that can't happen. You must get more. You must have more. And a lot of these guys are going to have to step up, and if they don't, then BYU is probably looking at a very, very short and disappointing March.
Yeah, and I think we knew that we were saying before Richie went out, it was like even the big three getting 80 points in a game doesn't actually – they did that against, I think, Oklahoma
Baylor.
State it was Baylor. And both Oklahoma State and Baylor both put up 90 points plus against BYU. One of them was a loss.
To me, it was concerning, and it didn't feel good because you can't rely on three guys at that heavy of a rate. It's not like Rob Wright had 39 last week. He only had 13 in Tucson.
Yeah. It's
Arizona's one of the best defensive teams in the country. So it's not like Rob was going to go down there and get 39. So what happens if Rob doesn't get 39? You saw what happened last night. They score 68 points and they get 4 points off the bench.
Yeah. If you also, asking both AJ DeBonsa and Rob Wright to fill in for Richie Saunders, they had games this year where, Rob Wright obviously has had insane scoring nights on a couple of these nights.
Oh, yeah.
AJ DeBonsa obviously has been doing what he's doing. Richie Saunders has had some phenomenal nights. But it's like all of them adding up to 85% of the scoring total. Those three, not just the starting five, those three. It's so hard to try to win in that fashion because there's the other part of where's the defense. And look, they held Arizona to a lot fewer points than
defense was actually better last night.
I think the effort part.
Kebaketa played 30 minutes, 4 blocks. He looked better.
So the defensive part, when you talk about effort, that's where it shines out usually, right? Like if guys are making massive efforts and that emotional effort that they made, I think translated into some better defense. But I also think Arizona was just like, we're just going to wear these guys down. And they did. Because you slow down one of the top scorers in the country, one of the best in the history of BYU basketball, even just being here 1 year, and you're able to shut down the rest of the team because they don't have anybody else coming off the bench. Before we get out to the break, though, how about the Aggies inviting? Now they already won up in at Boise State earlier this year.
They swept the Broncos.
And Boise State, for all of its misgivings, it's one of the best teams in the conference scoring wise. And Utah State, phenomenal game last night at the SPAC, and they sweep Boise State. That always feels good. Massive win for them, and they're in the driver's seat, man. And they're just playing such great basketball right now.
They look great, and Coach Calhoun has just done a phenomenal job once again. There was a point, and it's funny how seasons always happen. Every team gets their adversity, right? And the Aggies had their adversity. They had that loss at Grand Canyon, and they came home and just had an absolute stinker in front of their home fans at the Spectrum. They get beat handily by UNLV.
Yeah.
And we're all looking at it like, what has happened this week? I don't even recognize this team. And Coach Calhoun called his guys out, not individually, but collectively, and challenged them. And they go on the road the next week, and they gut out a tough win at Fort Collins. It brings them together, and all of a sudden, this team has just been unstoppable ever since. What are they up to? How many wins in a row? 12? How many have they won in a row now?
Gosh.
I apologize. I don't have that stat in front of me.
If we were one of Scotty G's
I'm pulling it up
friends,
right now.
we would have known already.
Scotty would.
How dare you?
So, it's 8 in a row. 8 in a row. Okay, 8 wins in a row. They are now 13-2. They have a 1-game lead over the Aztecs, who lost to Grand Canyon the other night. And obviously, Utah State beat the Aztecs already. They do play again later in the season. But this Aggies team looks even better than they did last year. Some different personnel. MJ Collins has been a terrific addition to this team. Adlan El-Amin might be the freshman of the year in the Mountain West. And Carson Templin has been, we speak about BYU's bench issues. When you've got a Carson Templin coming off the bench, See the difference? You see the difference in roster construction and a team when you have somebody like that, an Energizer Bunny, that can come out there and change the game in many different ways with their effort and their intensity. You have a chance. And they have some depth on that Utah State team. I love their roster. Mason Falsliff has been as good as expected.
Yeah.
That is a team that is looking great and peaking at the right time. I like their chances of not only winning a tournament game, but potentially, depending on their seed, if they get that 6-7, pulling off a win in the round of 32 and getting the Sweet 16 for the first time in a long, long time.
Yeah. Watch them be
Great team.
Watch them be a 6 or a 7 seed and BYU be a 9 seed.
That's where we're tracking right now.
How the turntables.
Go to KenPom.com and see where the rankings are. And Utah State and BYU fans, you get in the comments
Chat
and
amongst
discuss.
yourselves.
You can have your little debate because trust me, go look, you're going to find yourselves right next to each other in those analytical rankings.
You want a Utah basketball stat before we get out to the break here?
Sure.
Utah gets its first road win of the season at West Virginia last night.
Wow.
Phenomenal.
I didn't
effort.
realize it was their first road win.
Not only was their first road win, it was their first true road win in 399 days.
Wow.
Now, look, I'm not trying to dog them. They won the game. You know what I mean? Like, that's huge. You go out to West Virginia.
That's a good team.
It's a pretty decent team. That's a team.
West Virginia's a bubble team.
They've been toggling back and forth, and that's a massive, terrible loss for them because they were at home hosting a 1-11 in conference play Utah team.
They lost to the last place team in the conference.
And guess what?
At home.
Alex Jensen gets a win, the first road win of this season for the Utes, and the first true road win for this team in 399 days. I thought it was an insane stat. Okay, we'll take a break. Speaking of Utah, it's all brought to you by the good folks at U of U Health, University of Utah Health. Hope is in our DNA. Learn more at uofuhealth.org. That's uofuhealth.org. University of Utah Health, for you, for life. We will come back, and we've got we got a Shams bomb. The Shams bomb about what the league is going to do about tanking and anti-tanking. We'll get to it next. Stay here, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Accessing.
When TV and radio collide.
Love it.
This is what you get. You're listening to JJ and Alex.
Don't touch that dial.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Thanks for being with us today on the program. Happy Thursday. Join Scotty G and friends. Guess who his best friend is tomorrow? Scotty G and Kenny J's, man.
Oh.
That's right. He's going to be at Kenny J's barbecue.
I'd love
noon
to
to
be
3.
friends with that brisket.
I want to cuddle up with that brisket, I'll tell you that much.
Oh, yeah.
Friends with benefits, that brisket and me. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Now I've crossed the line, huh, Annapolis? Oh. Did you say that on the air? You got to say that on the air. You have to.
Don't make brisket weird.
Yeah, he makes a fair point. Don't ruin brisket.
Hey, I am in love with brisket, and I'll tell the whole world. I'm not ashamed.
I think Annapolis is just asking you to be careful how you express that love.
Oh, my goodness.
Express it properly.
Fine. It's down at the district. That's where Scotty G and Kenny J's are going to be teaming up tomorrow. You'll see Scotty G and friends noon to 3 tomorrow right there at the district next to the Megaplex Theater. Can't miss it because it smells phenomenal when you're walking over there. All right. So the tanking has reached a new thing. Look, I hate that we've been talking about tanking for so long, but guess what? There might be some solutions. Commissioner Adam Silver is, according to Shams, you got yourself a commissioner who feels like he needs to do something, not just say, hey, we threw a couple fines out there. The commissioner has informed the league's 30 general managers that the NBA plans to make anti-tanking rule changes for next season. Stakeholders have intensified dialogue about combating tanking. That's the tweet. The other thing that was said was multiple sources with knowledge on Thursday's GM meeting, as well as a late January competition committee meeting, told ESPN that the following concepts have been discussed to try to stop the tanking phenomenon. I was going to say, too, the competition committee, turning something around quickly is not easy to do with owners and general managers and everybody that's involved. because you have to get with the Players Association. You have to make sure that everybody, this type of stuff has to be. It has to be almost unanimous, which I think it is. It's got to be. The owners, of course, are going to probably have their thoughts on it. But here are some solutions, JJ. You tell me, and some of this needs some splaining. First-round picks can be protected only the top 4 or top 14 plus. Lottery odds freeze at the trade deadline or a later date. Now, that's interesting. So they have to play their butts off those last 26 games because we would have already determined the order of. So it would just be tanking for the first 58
It does
games.
you no good to try to lose games like after the All-Star break because it's not going to help your odds. So chances are you actually might put more better effort if you're trying to develop your roster, your young players, or just put the best players on the floor out there at that point in the season, and it wouldn't have such a negative impact on the results of the final 25, 30 games of the year.
It's an interesting look at how to do it, right? I mean, but I don't know. Like, ask yourself what that would do for the Jazz current roster. It wouldn't actually do anything because Jaren Jackson Jr., they found something in his knee and he's going to have surgery. Okay.
But if let's say Keontae George is healthy, which he's not right now, by the way, you're going to play Keontae and Lowry and Ace as much as you can together down the stretch, as opposed to trying to limit them or curb it a little bit. So it would actually make the Jazz a much more competitive team, and they would probably win a lot more games because of it. The Jazz would be incentivized to get those guys as many minutes together as possible.
Well, I think that
which would make them very good.
I think that the balance there was, and I think that the thought was, with Keontae George and a mostly young group, even with Lauri Markkanen on the floor 2/3 of the time or whatever it is he's been playing, and no Jaren Jackson Jr., you probably will still lose games at the rate that they've been losing them at, right? I mean, they've already overshot their win total according to what people thought they were going to do this year. And they have 26 games left. So the whole tanking part, that's a weird argument too. You go, yeah, this team has won more games than everybody thought they were going to win anyway. And all the Vegas people who are mad, they should be mad the Jazz have won so much if you took the under, right? Now, I don't know who's going to take under on 17.5 games, but
that'd be a bad bet.
That's a really tough thing to make for a team who just doesn't really get there. Now, they won 17 last year, but I think everybody knew, well, certainly didn't know how good Keontae George was going to be. But regardless, this next one would likely be one that I think is going to get a little bit more traction.
Agree.
You can no longer allow a team to pick a top 4 in consecutive years or after consecutive bottom 3 finishes. So the long-term tank, I think that's the thing that hurts the sport more than a team like the Jazz who are like, hey, we want to get out of this thing as soon as possible. And there's some teams who are just doing this, and they don't really care if their roster gets that good, but they just like being in that. They like being in the roster or in the what do we call it? What is it again? In the lottery, just because they can say, hey, they do it from a marketing perspective. They're like, we got the number 1 pick. Oh, that's great. We have the number 3 guy. Look at this. Sell some jerseys. Boom. Suns owner Matt Ishbia, by the way, during all of this. I know you were hoping to hear from him.
I was waiting. Glad he chimed in.
Suns owner Matt Ishbia said, tanking is losing behavior done by losers. But he's confident that Adam Silver has the fix. Now, that's bold to be confident in Adam Silver. Not because he's a great commissioner, but just because the commissioner is at the bidding. He does the bidding of the owners. Okay?
Right.
Matt Ishbia saying tanking is a losing behavior done by losers. That's the whole point. They're trying to lose games, dude. Like, come on. But loser behavior.
Are the Spurs losers? Are the Dallas Mavericks losers?
Now, out of the groups,
are the Philadelphia 76ers losers?
They have been quite a bit.
The Pacers were in the finals last
right.
year. They're tanking right now. Is that organization losers?
How about the Charlotte Hornets, who for first time in a long time.
They are losers.
That's what I was going to say.
They have a history of being losers.
They're a loser franchise, but now, like right now, they're like,
but the teams that have benefited the most from the lottery and from tanking are some of the best organizations in the NBA. Are the Oklahoma City Thunder losers, Matt Ishbia?
Now, the Suns, to their credit, they haven't fallen in this category of being...
Outside of making the finals in the post-COVID year, What have the Suns done?
I was going to say,
They had
after
Kevin Durant. What did
I
they do
know.
with Kevin Durant? Losers.
Look, and like Devin Booker, at some point that window's going to close, and he's going to be on a team that has no shot.
Right.
And then Matt Ishbia is going to go, all right.
Making $70 million a year.
Right, and then he's going to go, all right, let's blow this thing up. See what we can do here. And then guess what's going to happen?
Who's the loser
mentality.
now,
Yeah.
Matt?
Then the loser mentality comes up when you get put in that position, which is the position that a lot of these teams are in, including the Jazz, who find themselves in that position not very often, like never. That's why it feels so weird. Now, teams can't pick in the top 4 of the year after making conference finals. I think that like, come on.
Yeah.
Can't be. Like,
And the Mavericks would have been ineligible last year.
right. Yes, yes, that's a great point. And so you have a couple of teams the last 2 years who, shucks, are in the lottery.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Lottery odds allocated based on 2-year records in a row. Okay, but don't try it for 3 years because then you're out. You're going to get busted. It basically makes it sound like you can take for 2 years, and then that's it. But the lottery extended to include the play-in teams as well. Okay, flatten the odds for all the lottery teams, which they've done before. We've seen the flattening of the odds before. You just do it more aggressively, and then there you have it. So any of these that are going to get traction, JJ?
I like no longer allowing a team to pick top 4 in consecutive years. I think that would make a big difference because there's only so many teams that would even be eligible for that one of those top 4 picks. And that's what you really want to do. Now, this year's a rare draft where there's more than 4 players in this draft that are great. But that doesn't happen very often.
Right.
Eliminating a lot of teams from even top 4 consideration. Like, let's use the NHL model, for instance. The Utah Mammoth won the lottery this year. They would have or should have been the second pick in the draft.
They had some barriers in place.
Who won it all? Was it the Islanders who won? Anyway, the other one team won the number 1 pick, and the Mammoth won the 2. But they could only move up 10 spots.
Right.
There's a cap on how far you can move up. That is an idea that the NBA should look at because, and let's give the credit to the NHL. That was an instance where the Mammoth didn't get that number 1 or number 2 pick, which usually would have given them an incentive to tank. They just happened to win. And it discourages a lot of other teams in the NHL to tank because they realize, these other teams can win it and just tanking it doesn't really make it worth it. So there's no tanking. That's even in a sport where, you got to wait 2 or 3 years for the most part for these guys to even make it to the league. So I like that. I like that teams can't pick top 4 of the year after making the conference finals. The Pacers should not be able to do what they're doing right now. That's a good team that just has an injury situation. And what happened with the Mavericks is a different conversation. We don't have time for that. You get what I'm saying. That's a ridiculous trade that happened that caused that problem to occur. And I also do like flattening odds for lottery teams. I don't mind that at all. And the play-in teams I think is good too because you're not decentivized to go make a run and try to get into the play-in. You have a chance to be in the lottery as well.
Now look, the Pacers got fined. What did they get fined, by the way? Was it $100,000? It was $100,000. Yeah, it was $100,000. So not as much as it wasn't as overt, right? That's the new thing.
Not as overt.
Not as overt.
Not as bad as the Jazz. That was egregious.
Yeah. According to
that was bringing into question the integrity of the game.
I know. According to this list, by the way, the Utah Jazz are the second best tanking team in the league. So there you go.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. By the way, top of the hour, anticipating having André Tourigny, head coach of the Utah Mammoth. Been a minute since we've been able to talk to the coach. We got to knock some dust off of the NHL knowledge in our brains. We got to get that thing fired up. So we'll talk to Bear coming up at the top of the hour. Don't want to miss it. 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone.
Listen, everybody. Real-life hypotheticals to get your brain churning. As JJ and Alex ask, would you rather?
All right, everybody. Welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone. Happy Thursday to you. It's always fun to do the Olympic thing. When it's over, though, it's good to get back to, I think yesterday we mentioned, oh, man, I'm missing some Jazz. I'm missing some Mammoth.
Yeah.
I'm missing all sorts of things. So glad to, see everybody kind of getting back to normal here in the next few days. It's a welcome sight because we're not going to be talking about the women's half pipe or any half pipe for that matter. It's just on in the studio right now. They're catching strays. I'm not trying to.
It's a fun watch.
Just right out. No, they're awesome. Let me give you a would you rather. We discussed it a little bit before the show, and I wanted to ask you. And it seems like a dumb question, but I don't know. You let me know. Trade 3 first-round picks for a proven star, or keep all those picks and trust the front office to draft right. Since we're talking about
get the star, which is why what the Jazz just did is so.
They just did that. They got a star, and they gave up how many first-round picks?
How many years have they been going along with all these picks, saying they're just waiting and waiting and waiting, and what's been the result? Waiting for a lottery to go your way that never did?
Yeah.
That's fruitless.
Yeah, of course.
How are the Washington Wizards doing with that? They finally gave up on that. They went all in on getting – I think they got the wrong guys.
Yeah.
I mean, be grateful if you're a Jazz fan that the Jazz made the right pick, the right trade instead of the bad trades, like the Wizards did. My goodness. Like the Jazz did the right thing.
Okay.
And that's why you have to be patient. You know, a lot of people took their shots at Danny Ainge, like the big game hunting thing that didn't happen that first offseason. You, if you've ever hunted, you know you got to be patient and wait for that big buck. It doesn't just walk right in front of you. It takes some time and a lot of scouting and a lot of effort to go find out where it is, and that's what the Jazz did. They patiently waited for that opportunity, and you watched the Grizzlies crumble, and all of a sudden they had a star player available, one of the top 25, 30 best players in the league, and the Jazz just got him.
All right. I got one.
Agree
I got
or
another
disagree?
one. I got one. This was exactly the scenario that the Jazz have had to try to figure out. I'm fine with it. Everybody, by the way, wanted to get a great player because everybody's feeling great about Keontae George. They feel great about Lauri Markkanen. They feel great about the young core that they have going together. Okay, how about this one? Because I was thinking – but now here's the thing is that this one is actually interesting because I don't know. You tell me. A national championship in the next 3 years for your team in college football, let's say, or you're a top 5 team every year for the next 10 years. Now, before you get to just saying the national championship, because I know you're going to say that. Think about what being top 5 does for your recruiting long term. I get it. Not winning a championship is tough.
Okay, you have to convince me that being top 5 for over a 10-year period vaults you into blue blood status.
And I'm about blue blood status. It'll actually look like, hey, they're the people who can never get to the dance. They can never actually be there.
And then what's the point then?
Yeah, I get it. Just really good football for 10 years, you know?
Isn't that what we enjoy here in Utah? But is anybody okay with that?
No, you got to win a natty. All right, we'll take a break. Bear Tourigny joining us next, head coach of the Utah Mammoth. Cannot wait to start talking NHL again, and they're going to be back in action, of course, after Team USA and the rest of the Olympics return back to their NHL teams. And we'll talk to Bear next. Stay here, 97.5 KSL Sports Zone.
Ladies and gentlemen, the biggest name.
You're locked into JJ and Alex. With the insight and analysis on the teams you can't live without. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5 KSL Sports Zone. We're anticipating getting the coach, Bear Tourigny, getting back in the swing of things here. It's not just about getting your practices normal. You got to start doing your weekly radio hit with us.
It's all about routine.
Clowns, come on. Yeah, look, I'm all about it because if you're somebody who, like, we've loved the NHL here the last couple of years. The Olympic break has been interesting, but you just hope that that it doesn't affect the Mammoth, like it didn't kill kind of the mojo, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what could happen, right? I mean, that's the way it feels like it could totally go that direction because we've seen this happen in sports before. You get hot and then you're kind of like, but everybody was like, they're ready for a break. And I don't know if Coach is one of those guys that loves a break, but because he just hasn't been that type of guy who like, I'm like, hey, did you take a couple of days vacation? He's like, nope, I worked, and that's the kind of guy he is. But maybe this one was a little bit different and he got to go. Maybe he went to the Olympics. I don't know. We'll ask Coach Tourigny all those things. By the way, this portion of the show brought to you by U of U Health at University of Utah Health. Hope is in our DNA. Learn more at uofuhealth.org. University of Utah Health, for you, for life. Let's kick off the show. Let's get the cut and we'll get going here. And we'll chat some hockey, Olympic hockey, as we had one of the most amazing finishes in Olympic history for Team USA. Let's go ahead and get to the cut right now.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, so Team USA survived Sweden. The men's team, of course, survived Sweden, and they get to the semifinal. Quinn Hughes scored that goal late. That was exciting. Overtime for both Team Canada and Team USA in this one. And you're just hoping that they can put it all together in the semis so they can meet one another in the final as well in that gold medal game. But the Team USA, the women's national team, a phenomenal ending to that one. It was 1-0 for the vast majority of that game. And then JJ in the last 2 minutes and 6 seconds is when Hillary Knight put the equalizer in. And then, can you call it soccer guy? Am I allowed to say equalizer in hockey too? I used the term nil, and I got a real weird look from.
Now that's not okay.
If I call
next
it
thing you're going to you're going to call the ice a pitch.
If I call it pitch, then
you're going to call the sweaters a kit.
Oh, he's out there on his boots on the pitch out there. So it was just an amazing run, and Team USA gets themselves a gold medal in the women's side of things. And the good news is for hockey here in the state of Utah is that when the Mammoth fire it back up, you're going to see guys likely, I don't know if we'll be able to hear it when it gets closer, but both Logan Cooley and Alex Kerfoot with they took like the equivalent of the quarterback's jersey off at practice, and they went full no limit in terms of contact and things like that at practice. And so they look like they might be right on track for this thing to be able to work out. And so watching some footage of these guys skating around and in their full gear, like looking like they're getting ready for this second part of the season, really, really excited about it. Let's get to the coach, André Tourigny, joining us on the program right now.
Your exclusive radio home of the Utah Mammoth is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Now it's time to hear from the head coach of the Mammoth, André Tourigny.
It wasn't just a break in NHL action. It was also a break from this very radio show. Coach, how was it not having to talk to us for a couple of weeks?
That was the worst part of it. The break was good, but not talking to you guys, I was missing it.
You missed it. Yeah.
You just made our day, Coach.
Well, as the break sort of hit us, you're not a guy, the light doesn't turn off in your office very often, but were you able to get a couple days of a break, and what did that look like for you?
Yeah, I was able to go back to see my parents, my sisters, and my kids. So my kids play university in Canada, and it was his last regular season game. That was a senior game, so I was able to be there. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, that was pretty cool. So timing was perfect, and his brother came to the game with his sisters. So all the family were all there with my wife. So that was pretty good.
I mean, when you're in this grind and it's such a hard thing, and we watch you guys, we think, man, what a great life you just have, and all the great things you get to do. But like the grind is real, and you do miss things in your life. How difficult is that? The sacrifice you guys make that we don't often see.
Yeah, but it goes with the territory. I'm not the kind of guy who will complain about much in that sense. You accept the challenge, you accept the job, and it goes with ups and downs. Same thing on your job. Same thing for everybody. There's no perfect scenario in life.
Right.
Everything's come with great things and not so great. So I think I have the best job in the world. So I'm lucky man.
Awesome.
We're going to get back into some NHL hockey, of course, and we're watching all of these different countries, of course, with a handful of your guys playing for their national teams. And, of course, Team USA and Team Canada. Kels has been on the ice the last couple of games. I don't know what the semifinals are going to look like, but when you watch Team Canada and you've been watching Team USA and some of your guys out there playing, how's it been to see them? Because I know that there's probably some moments, too. You've seen a couple guys get hurt, which is never the thing you want to see, but so far so good on that end. But how is it to be able to watch your guys competing in these types of international tournaments?
That's cool. I think it was good to see Oli Mata have good tournament so far. He's playing well. The game I watch, and with same for JJ, a very important role with Germany. So good touch, and like you said, Kel is playing the last 2 games. USA won, so we'll see what the semi will look like. But I think it's exciting to see our guys, and they play an elimination game. It was the same for JJ, and those kind of a pressure game where it's do or die. You cannot teach that. You have all the right advice and all of it, but when you're in it and you really live it, feel it, understand it, I think that is a very important experience for those guys.
Just overall, that tournament in the Olympics has been phenomenal. You saw how competitive it was, where the 7 seed and the 8 seed almost pulled off stunning upsets. The gap is not great between, Canada and the United States and Czechia and Sweden. No. How great has this tournament overall been for the sport of hockey?
No, it's been like that for a few years, and people don't realize how good is the hockey on the international level. A lot of countries are now part of that mix of, Slovakia will not be an easy target, and it's to say, so it's great now. There's more and more players right from everywhere around the world, and make the game even better. There's more and more countries who are competing, so that's phenomenal.
Well, now you got to get back to business. Obviously, you guys have been practicing, and we've been able to see some footage of both Alex Kerfoot and Logan Cooley back on the ice again, adding those guys back into a team that had really found a nice groove before the break. How important is that going to be, and how do these guys look?
They look really good, honestly. The fact we had the opportunity to all start together, after the break, everybody started on the same page and get going. And, during the season, you don't have a lot of opportunity to have what I will say quality practice in terms of it's not just maintaining, it's really digging in on certain aspect of the system and on fundamentals and stuff like that. We had that opportunity this week, so that's good to have those guys who missed quite a bit of time to have that opportunity to have those kind of practice. If they will have been anywhere during the season, now you don't have those quality practice when you come back. So I think that will help.
What's the latest on Logan Cooley and Alexander Kerfoot? I know we got reports that they took the jerseys off. They were able to go out there and go full contact.
Yeah, they're full contact right now. They will be reevaluated not tomorrow, Saturday, and we'll see from there that we should have a better indication of their timeline to come back to play.
As the guys come back and as everybody has to sort of get back to reality again after an international tournament that has so much emotion to it. And, of course, the Avs are never going to be an easy out, like ever, especially this year. They are a phenomenal team, but they also have some guys who are coming back from playing from their team as well. And so having to jump right back in and having such a tough opponent, do you like that, or would you rather kind of ease into it a little bit? I guess there's no easing into anything in the NHL.
No. We need to play all those guys. So I think there's all what you mentioned is true, but at the same time, there's stuff we cannot control. So for me, it's more about making sure our preparation is the best it can be, because I believe some team will take advantage of that break, the Olympic break, and some team will take a hit with the break. So we want to be on the right side of it. We want to make sure we are one of the team to take advantage. We have great practice. The guy have the right mindset. There's a lot of smile and work and enthusiasm around the team. We want to keep that going. Make sure we're ready for the game against Colorado.
As you look back on what your team was doing before the break, and you can't do anything about the break. Everybody's on the same break, but you guys obviously had some tremendous momentum and things were clicking really well. What could you bottle up from that and kind of pick up where you left off? What was your team doing at that point that was allowing you guys to have the kind of successful run that you were doing that you hope to continue when everybody gets back here shortly?
Yeah, I think for us, it's how aggressive we are, and as well, I think we were managing the game really well. I think we were not beating ourselves by trying to do too much. So I think that was really good. But I think for us, it's the consistency. I think we played really well for a really long time. But now we don't want to change anything. We just want to be consistent and keep going. I think we have a long stretch right now where we're playing good hockey. We don't want to change anything. We don't want to change our mindset. We're playing good. We're hungry. We're competitive. We know what's the stake here. We just have to keep going.
Looking at the standings here, of course, the Central Division and the Western Conference is insanely good, especially at the very, very top. So many talented teams, and you guys are sitting right there behind the Stars, and you're in a spot where if it were to happen today, you'd be in the playoffs, but obviously there's a lot more hockey to play. What is the difference of a really good, as you say, a competitive team, a physical team, and a team that can be contending for a playoff spot? Where does your team need to get to be in that spot, or what's the difference of a team that's pretty good versus one that's in the playoffs?
Well, I think that's you find a way to win certain games where maybe you don't have your A game, and as well you don't beat yourself. And if you look, let's take a team like Florida for the last 3 years, it's always the same. So from the puck drop to the end of the third period, they're just coming by wave. They don't change anything. They wear you down, and then at some point during the game, you break, you make a mistake, and whoop, they take advantage, and they just keep. Are they outplaying their opponent? No, not really, but they're doing it on every shift all the time. It's just wave after wave after wave of consistency, and at some point, you break one time, you put a knee down, whoop, they take advantage, and a little bit later in the game, whoop, another one. So that's the kind of a mentality you must have. You play against Colorado. As much as it's important to play well and to make good play, if we make too many mistakes, if we break and they take advantage of the time we break, there's no chance. You cannot do it. So it's the consistency in your structure, consistency, the way you apply the structure, and you're managing the fatigue, you're managing the end of your shift, you're managing the way you change, you're managing the puck, you're managing all those little things. Who doesn't give the opportunity of your opponent to get in the crack and take advantage of one little mistake.
Before we cut you loose, I wanted to go back to the Olympics real quick because it's going to be an incredible semifinal. Really looking forward to this. As you're looking at the teams that are left, and obviously everyone might be looking ahead to that USA-Canada matchup, but we learned in this last round how you can't take that for granted. But you're looking at this last four. Who do you give the edge to and why?
Oh, boy, that's a good question. I will say Canada-US. I
in
think
that order?
More depth.
In that order, Coach?
Oh, no, I won't pick an order on that one.
Wait, we're about to put you on the record here.
You don't want to offend anybody, do you?
That's exactly that. But I cannot go against Cal, but on the same time, I represent Canada 13 times.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we understand.
On the international level, so I cannot bite the hand who fed me. So
absolutely.
I will stay on the fans, and I will keep it for myself. But the thing is, it would be great if the both game are really, really high level, and we have two players. We have Kels with the U.S. and we have Oli with the Finns. So I hope both of those guys come back with a medal. Hopefully, the medal they won. But at the end of the day, I think the people who won, it's all us, the fans, watching those games. I think it's a treat. I think we're fortunate, and I enjoy it.
Coach Tourigny, nice enough to join us on a weekly basis here. We're going to have to get back into the swing of things here. Coach, we're looking forward to what the last part of the season presents to us. We're looking forward to the rest of this tournament and how you guys come back and adjust again to get back into NHL hockey. We appreciate you joining us. We'll talk to you next time, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
have a good
Coach.
one.
There you go.
Back.
Coach Tourigny. Oh, man. It got me thinking. I'm looking at NHL standings again. I'm getting back into it here. I'm not just looking at medal counts. Got to get back into the swing of things. Coach is already there. That's a guy who didn't turn it off, right? And how cool is it to be able to go back, see his son's final game at his university?
Boy, the break
playing?
couldn't have come at a better time for him. Right? That's pretty cool. It's great to hear and see. But yeah, you realize that there's some pretty cool stuff ahead. And I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves and all of you hockey fans out there, but this Utah Mammoth team is in a position. They've put themselves in a position now as they go into this final stretch post-Olympics to make a run and get into the NHL playoffs, to get into Stanley Cup playoffs. Think about it. Think what we're about to experience here coming up in the next 2 months.
Yeah.
Something we've never experienced before, and you don't want to jinx it. I'm not even comfortable talking about it right now because you're going to come back and blame me that what I said in February
it's not baseball.
jinxed the Mammoth. But we all understand what's at stake here and what is possible. And to think, it's mind-blowing to go back even 2 years ago, Alex, and think we didn't even have an NHL team, and now we may be 2 months away from experiencing Stanley Cup playoff hockey here in Utah with a team that is on the way up, and it's going to feel like the start of something special.
I
cannot wait for the next 2 months to watch this develop, this story. It's going to be fascinating.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see when these guys get back on the ice too, Kerfoot and Cooley, right? And they come back and they have to get so much. You know, they've got to get back in that groove, and you know what? You have to find that groove with your teammates. You got, and these guys are pros, and so they'll be able to do it. But to have that talent back on the ice again is a fine trade-off. With I know the team has been playing really, really well, but you know they take the break and then they get back into it. It'd be awesome if they came right out of the break and get a win over Colorado. Is that at home or is it, I think it's there, right?
No, it's home.
It's here. Okay. Oof.
Even greater chance of the Avs being short players for that game.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And they play the Wild next. I think the Wild had like 8 players in the quarterfinals. Crazy number. Yeah, and yeah, a ton of guys on their team playing for their countries, and so it's awesome to see it get back into the swing of things. In the meantime, we just keep kind of seeing what this team has become this year. You think about, and I bring this up a lot, and I apologize if I bring it up too much, but that stretch, we were like all down when they were 41 games and halfway into the season, and they had 43 points, which was exactly where they stood the year before. And that stretch between then and what was the international tournament break that they had the Four Nations, that stretch for the Mammoth, it didn't provide a lot. I mean, they were like, 3-4 at home during that stretch. They were even worse on the road. They're 15 points better than they were, 12 points better than they were at this point last year. And that might be enough.
That stretch is a full 6 wins ahead of where that team was over a span of only 6 weeks or even less when you take the breakout, a month. And so the change has been awesome. And there were even a couple games in there you go, oh man, wish they could have had that one back, Carolina.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think it's good to see the team. They always have stuff that they can improve. They always have stuff that the coach comes in and goes, look, it's awesome if you're playing great, but then when you make mistakes, it all goes out the window. Yeah, you're a talented player. You guys are coming together. You guys are playing awesome on offense. You made these 2 mistakes and it led to 2 goals and we lost the game 2-1. That's what he has to look at as a coach, is just eliminating those mistakes. And so it's good to have Coach back, and it's good to have the women's hockey team win gold. We'll see if the men can do it as well.
Yeah, can't wait to watch the end of this tournament, but then I'm also looking ahead, like as I mentioned, to what's coming up. And I'm looking at the standings, Alex, and the Mammoth have a 4-point cushion between that number 1 wild card spot and being out. The Kings are at 60 points. Kings, by the way, lost a key player in the Olympics. We'll see how that impacts them. But the Kings lost 3 straight going into the break. The Predators lost 2 straight. The Sharks lost 4 straight. So those are teams that really needed that break. The Mammoth were the opposite. They wanted to keep on going and rolling. But they do have that 4-game gap. There's 5 games over the Predators, 6 games over the Sharks. Sorry, points, not games. 6 points over the Sharks. And then after that, a gap is starting to develop. The Sharks have a 5-point lead over the Blackhawks at 53. So I think it's really going to be a 5-team race for 2 wild card spots, and we'll see if the Kraken are going to be involved in that as well. Even the Oilers aren't safe. Now, the Kraken currently at 63 points are at 3rd in the Pacific. They're not in the wild card mix. The Ducks are at 63, but they're tied with the Kraken in points. So you're looking at 1, 2, 3. So let's say there's basically 6 teams in competition for 3 spots. But the Mammoth can't get the spot that the other Pacific Division teams can get. So the Mammoth's margin for error is much slimmer than it is for the Kraken or the Ducks. But you have the Kraken, Mammoth, Ducks, Kings, Predators, Sharks that are basically in that mix. The other teams are looking pretty clear, except for the Oilers could drop. It's going to be tough, but the Mammoth have to be confident going into this because they have that 4-point lead right now. When we get back into the mix of things, I'm going to dig into it and see what the strength of schedule is and all that stuff. We'll talk to Cole Bagley about it and all those things next week when we get into back into regular season hockey mode. But right now, the Mammoth have put themselves in a great position, as you mentioned. We saw the gap last year and what was required, and the Mammoth seem to have closed that gap between being on the outside looking in and being in a position to actually make it to the playoffs.
Speaking of the Olympics, our own Sam Farnsworth from KSL5 Television's been out there, and we're gonna dip in with Sam.
He was at the women's hockey game.
I would imagine so, and I would hope that we'll get a phenomenal account from Sam being in that building. It must have been electric for at least half of it. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. Sam Farnsworth live from Italy next, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Your home for the best coverage of the Jazz, Utes, and Cougars is right here on The Zone. This is JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. I can't imagine a better song to represent Sam Farnsworth than Oye Como Va. Because it's chilled out, it's classic, but it still slaps. That's what the kids say these days, JJ. It slaps.
Do they?
Hey, fam. That's how I'm going to refer to Sam Farnsworth going forward.
This
here.
intro is very sus.
JJ, we got to get away from these kid terms. Sam Farnsworth joins us on the program live from Italy, the Milano Cortina Games of 2026. They're coming to an end here, Sam. Are you going to miss your time? And now that you look back and reflect on, man, all those 13 days ago when you got here and you barely knew any Italian, and now you're going to come home, bear your testimony in Italian.
Hey, man, I worked hard on my Italian before I came out here with Duolingo, and I've been putting it into use, okay?
I love it.
So I'm almost to that point, Alex. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Your language is strange to me. I'm only used to the Italian.
I'll tell you what, man. It's kind of been a blur. Jeremiah knows all too well what it's like. It has been kind of a blur, and it's already coming to an end. We're less than a week away from everything coming to a close. But because it's coming to an end at this point, what we're seeing is all those like magical medal-winning moments, right? Everything's coming down to the wire, and really cool moment on the ice for figure skating. That happened with an unexpected gold medal there for the United States, first one since 2002 for the women's and figure skating. And then, man, this women's hockey game tonight was just something else.
We lost Sam. Some Canadian got a hold of that.
Somebody please find him.
As soon as they heard it, they go, if you start talking about this game tonight, we're firing this thing up.
So
here.
a Canuck pulled the plug? Is that what you're saying?
Is Canuck allowed these? Well, I guess it's still a...
is that offensive?
I don't know.
Is that becoming an offensive term?
Do you think the Canucks in Vancouver are going to have to change their name to like to something else? Just because
it's racist.
No, it's not. Yeah, Canucks are just a nice colloquialism. But yeah, I guess we're looking. Yeah, we got to figure out how to get Sam back here. He brought it up. Team USA, the women's team. If you missed it, and you're okay with hearing the spoiler, I mean, I can't imagine somebody going, "Don't tell me anything till I get home tonight to see the women's national hockey team score." Now, I have had people threaten me with a lot of different things if we talk about, because one of the biggest watches in primetime, as you know, is figure skating.
Right.
And so it's like, oof, don't mess that up. But I'm always like, you know what? We're just talking about news that happens.
I mean, it's the year 2026. I think people are over that part of it. We all understand, like, you can watch the clips on social media. You can stream it live. It's not like you have to. Who's waiting until you get home at 7 or 8 o'clock at night to watch it?
Sure, yeah. I think most people can appreciate it. But Sam, you were making reference to the Team USA and Team Canada gold medal game, and the women's national hockey team pulls it off in spectacular movie-like fashion here. You were in the building. We heard how crazy the fans went. What was it like being in there and actually hearing the reaction when they got the golden goal from Megan Keller?
Yeah, it was bonkers. You know, I was trying to be a good teammate, guys, and I was on the air link so that our YouTube viewers could see the beautiful Santa Julia Ice Arena behind me in the back. I'm telling you, it was looking good. But we're back. but you know what else was looking good? The end of that hockey game. There we go. Let's get back on track here.
Segue.
But yeah, I mean, holy cow, it was electric because for 20, 40, 58 minutes of that game, the Canadian crowd was a bit stronger than that American crowd. You know, they were louder. Obviously, they had a little more reason to be excited as they could see it getting closer and closer to the finish line of them winning a gold medal. But the moment that Hillary Knight redirected that goal in to tie it up and send it to overtime, the place just erupted. And there were the American fans. There they were. They were absolutely loud. Place was electric. And you just kind of felt at that point, okay, it's over. Because this United States team had just been so dominant through these Olympic Games. They just needed something in this game to happen. And, Erin Farkle in net, their goalie, she did an outstanding job to keep them within striking distance for as long as she did. She had 30 saves. But that goal by Hillary Knight at the end of regulation was the spark they needed. It just set off the powder keg, and you knew when they came out in overtime that it was probably lights out for Canada at that point.
A golden moment for American hockey. Just how dominant was that women's hockey team? It's pretty impressive the run they went on.
Check this out. They came into the game outscoring their opponents 31-1. Okay, wow. Coming into this game, could you imagine outscoring your opponents 31-2 and going home with a silver medal?
No.
Yeah.
that would have been absolutely a shocker. That would have been devastating. But they did get it done, so they end up outscoring their opponents 33-2 for these Olympic Games. Until that Canada goal, they had a new Olympic record for consecutive shutout minutes, something like 340, longer than that because you have to add the first period into it, so probably around 355 or so minutes without allowing a goal in these Olympic Games. That's how dominant they were. And so this is going to go down as one of the all-time great hockey teams in American hockey history, men's or women's. This team came in as the likely favorite to win gold, and they stamped their claim on it tonight.
Sam, obviously Team USA on the women's side of things, we knew it was going to be close. But Team USA and Team Canada both facing some adversity in the quarterfinals on the men's side. What's the anticipation of what the semis are going to look like? Could it be? I mean, I would imagine it'd be equally as scary. We just had André Tourigny on, and he goes, "Nobody in this tournament is going to get a free pass to the gold medal game."
No, not at all. And I don't know how many American hockey fans watched Slovakia play in their quarterfinal matchup, but they were dominant. All right. And that's who the United States get in the semifinals. And that's the team that has the fewest NHLers on the roster of all these teams that are left.
They're just a great team. Yeah.
Yes, they are. They play very well together. They're very well coached. And when things click for that team, they are very good. They've had some very good wins here at the games. And so that's a team that, if the United States was overlooking Sweden by any stretch, which they never should have, but if they were, there's no way they can afford to overlook this Slovakia team who's just been outstanding. And so, yeah, I mean, those quarterfinal matchups were so fun. There was 3 overtime games. Finland, it took Finland a late comeback. That's another roster that's full of NHL players. They had to score 2 goals in the final few minutes of the third period to go to overtime and win in overtime as well. Obviously, the United States got it done in OT, and Canada as well. So this men's tournament has delivered finally here in the knockout stages, some absolute thrillers, and I would expect nothing but more. I wouldn't expect anything less than that again tomorrow in these semifinal matchups.
Can't wait to see how this hockey tournament plays out. What are the other things you anticipate? We already saw the women's ice skating. That was a fantastic story. What's the next big thing that you're paying attention to over these last 3 or 4 days outside of the hockey that we need to keep an eye on?
It kind of boils down to the hockey, though, right? Come on, let's be honest, guys.
There's no doubt.
but our colleagues and friends, Mike Anderson and Matt Gephardt, who are over there in Cortina on the other side of northern Italy, up in the mountains with the snow, they are pumped about curling, which is still continuing. And look, I don't know if you guys have ever tried curling. I finally tried before I came out here, and it's pretty fun. Just saying that, it's pretty fun to try. And I know the United States has never really been a curling country, but these games, I think they're trying to make a claim that the United States is a curling country. And so, and people are excited about it. And so that's the other thing that's, as these Olympic Games wind down, that we're kind of keeping tabs on.
Sam, there's obviously a lot of effort in these last days. Like these, as you said, a lot of these are just the final events or the finals of something. And so a lot of gold medals kind of going out the door on a day like this. And luckily, Team USA has gotten one in the women's hockey. They got one in ice skating. How big of a deal was it for the women's single gold medal for Team USA? First one since 2002.
Massive deal. Liu, I can't say her name right, but
I think it's just Liu. Yeah.
Liu, okay, there. Her short program, right? Was that last night or the night before? I can't remember. It all blurs together. But that was kind of where she was just flawless in that program, and it was kind of set the tone for her to have an opportunity to get on the podium tonight, whether it was going to be gold, silver, or bronze. I was pretty surprised that it ended up being gold, that she was at the top of the podium with two other skaters left to go. But yeah, this just doesn't, you think of, I don't know, we're all kind of in the same age range. So when I think of figure skating growing up, you think of the Nancy Kerrigans and who was before Yamaguchi,
yeah,
right?
Christy Yamaguchi, yep.
Christy Yamaguchi. You think of some of those great skaters, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know how many golds they ever won, but I remember their names, and I remember them being a big deal at the Winter Olympics. So for American women to not have won a gold medal in figure skating for 24 years now, to get it done, this is definitely a huge deal in American sports and in American Olympic history to get that done tonight.
Sam Farnsworth live in northern Italy and coming off of what might be the coolest result so far, at least the most spectacular wild finish for Team USA and the women capturing gold from Team Canada, who they were trailing for the majority of that game today. Sam, of course, going to be covering it still. When do you actually get to go home, though, Sam? That's my question.
We leave on the 24th. What is that, Tuesday? So coming up on Tuesdays when we leave. Sunday is closing ceremonies, and if all goes well, Sunday afternoon is also the gold medal game, which hey, keep fingers crossed for a USA-Canada rematch there for men's hockey. And then closing ceremonies will happen, and then Monday is kind of our last pack up, get ready to go day, and Tuesday I'm back. I fly. Yeah, I'll be back Tuesday night.
Sam,
good. Can you anchor for me on Tuesday night?
Done. Schedule me for the whole week.
Zombie anchor on Tuesday night on KSL at 10 o'clock.
That would be fun. That's a new event. That should be a new event.
Zombie anchor?
You're on an airplane. You're on an airplane for 10 hours. You get right off and go straight and do the newscast. Boom.
And
gold medal.
And we need some good judges to
sure.
Some fair judges that'll give some good scores on performance, and take the fatigue factor into effect. There needs to be a weighted system with the scoring here.
There's going to be some difficulty levels here because we're going to put the prompter in Italian, so you're going to have to figure that out.
I'll submit my routine so that they know what the starting the starting score levels are.
If it's in Italian, it's an easy dub for you.
Okay. Yeah, you got it, man. You got it. Sam, thanks, man, for all the updates, and safe travels if we don't get to talk to you before then, and have fun the rest of the way out there, man.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Sam.
There you go, Sam Farnsworth. Okay. Yeah, you can't just say, well, it'll be great when they're all in the gold medal game together. It's like,
don't get too far ahead of yourself here. It's that competition.
Slovakia is scary, man.
Yeah,
for all sorts of reasons.
Yeah,
not just hockey related. Come on, all right.
You saw how close the Americans came to losing to Sweden. Now, some would argue Sweden's better than Slovakia, and they might be right talent-wise, but there's something about a team that plays together all the time.
They beat the heck out of Germany, didn't they? Is that who there was? Like 6-2 or something like that?
Yeah.
Oof. We beat Germany 6-3. Or no, ours was 6-3 was the Danes, I think. Well, we'll see. All right. I'm getting all my countries mixed up over there in Europe who are interested in hockey. The KSL Sports Zone of Beehive Meals, honoring people, of course, as we do all year long in the realm of the youth sports in your neighborhood. What do? You nominate somebody at kslsports.com/contests, and we honor the volunteers who just make a huge difference in the youth sports in their community. And it's all brought to you by the good folks at Beehive Meals and KSL Sports. How about this one? The nomination this week came from the principal of Orem Junior High School, Principal Dawson, who nominated Kyle Bilbao. This week's winner. Mr. Bilbao is an amazing coach and dedicates so much of his time to develop the youth at Orem Junior, Timpanogos High, as well as the community sports. He's found ways to connect and develop students not only in their sport, but also to help them be good people as well. His energy and love for sports is contagious. You are the best, Mr. Bilbao. We'll also throw our congratulations in there as well. And he gets $250 for Beehive Meals on top of it. You can do the same thing for somebody else. We appreciate the nomination from Principal Dawson down there in Orem. And we love taking those nominations, and we love honoring those people. Think of somebody, make a nomination at kslsports.com/contests, and you can make that nomination right there, and you can hear their name over the radio. All right, we'll come back. We've got more around the corner. Stick with us. Top 10 next, 97.5 KSL Sports Zone.
Accessing.
When TV and radio collide.
Love it.
Wow. This is what you get. You're listening to JJ and Alex.
Don't touch that dial.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We appreciate you being a part of the program. We were just talking about this in the break. The NBA is going to fire up here starting tonight. NBA action tonight. The Utah Jazz are going to fire back up their next part of their season. You know what I think part of the problem is that the tanking stuff, all of this stuff hit the fan right before the break, and then you didn't have anything else to talk about. So what do you have? Oh, my gosh. Hot tanking action. And that's what it's been. And that's by the way, top of the hour, we're going to chat with Big T Thurl Bailey about this very deal. And it just is, I'm sure the noise has just been, it's been insufferable for us. Big T must hate it. So I can't wait to dive in on it. And maybe he's got some solutions on how to do it, or maybe he thinks that the game is does need some change. But we'll talk about that and much more with Big T. In the meantime, I've got a top 10 for you here.
All right.
JJ, this is I had a different one. This one just got inspired by Seinfeld being on up in the studio right now, which we did not plan on. But I've got in front of me the top 10 most watched NBC sitcoms of all time. NBC, of course, we have a direct affiliation. We're fans.
Okay.
And so I've got in front of me the top 10 most watched NBC sitcoms of all time.
Oof.
You ready?
Yeah.
Napolis, do you know what a sitcom is? Are you familiar with what did we call it was like must-see Thursdays, right? It was like a
must-see TV Thursdays.
Must-see TV Thursdays
on NBC.
You familiar with any of that?
It's way before its time.
Okay. Well, you could participate either way.
And TGIF on Fridays on ABC.
Oh,
I might get fired for mentioning ABC. Strike that from the record.
Milkman,
Hit the dump button.
Paperboy, Evening TV. All right, let's go. Here we go. All
right.
Starting it up on your mark, set, go.
Seinfeld.
Ding.
Friends.
Ding.
Mad About You. Parks and Rec. No, what are the other ones? Cheers.
Ding.
Does the Cosby Show count?
Ding.
Got it.
It was a quiet ding on that one. Oh, Wings was great, but
what's the other one with the gosh dang. Will and Grace.
Ding.
Got it. I pulled that out. Pulled that out of the hat.
Family Matters.
Wrong network.
There's one with the word family in it,
though. Family? All in the Family?
Family Ties?
Ding!
Yeah, you got Family Ties. Well done.
I love it.
That's good. Oh, what else is there? Gosh dang it. Growing Pains is on ABC. That's not it. What was left? I mean, it felt like Seinfeld was on forever. I got Cheers
you did
already.
Get Cheers, you did.
What's left?
Others?
What am I missing?
Other decades?
What did I miss?
You did great. Number 10 is Will and Grace. Number 8 is Family Ties.
What was 9?
Now,
crap.
here are the ones that I'm very disappointed in you with. Now, again, it's hard to filter out all the TV shows at once. Number 10 is Will and Grace. Number 9 is The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh!
Mm-hmm. Family Ties, 8.
How did I miss The Fresh
Well,
Prince?
you're going to really kick yourself on this one.
Oh, no.
Golden Girls.
No!
Who forgets Blanche?
Oh.
Come on, man.
This is embarrassing.
I know. Another one that is highly successful. I cannot believe that you didn't get this one. Because you should have just piggybacked on the Cheers from this one.
Yeah, Frasier.
Frasier.
Dang it.
Got it. The Office. Did you mention The Office? Oh, boy. You should call home and just say, hey, leave me out of dinner tonight.
I might get fired for this. I just didn't bring my A game today.
The Cosby Show, Cheers, Friends, and then, of course, number 1 all time.
Well, I got the top 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm. No, you did great.
I didn't. Don't.
The Office, Frasier, Golden Girls.
Don't patronize me. I missed some big ones.
And if you didn't have Alex Annapolis in there and Lloyd, you wouldn't have gotten Family Ties. Yeah, I'd pack it up if I were you. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back. We have more to go. Big T, Thurl Bailey.
I think I might take the rest of it.
Big T, Thurl Bailey's next. Stay here, 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone.
You know what's coming.
Your daily deep dive into everything Utah Jazz.
It's time.
All season long and even in the off season. It's Jazz Daily with JJ and Alex on your exclusive home of Utah Jazz basketball. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Thanks for being with us on the program. So good to hear that John Tesh classic, because it means we're closer and closer to the NBA kicking off again, and it's going to kick off tonight. The league starts games back up after the All-Star break, and the Utah Jazz will be playing tomorrow at Memphis. Joining us already in Memphis, he is Big T, Thurl Bailey. Big T, thanks for being with us, man.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Oh, we're just trying to get back into basketball.
Ready for some hoop.
Oh, I mean, we are dying at this point. I like the Olympics, but you know how it is. Like, are you that type of way where you're like, let's get back going with this thing? I can only be at home and hang out so much. I got to get back in the groove here.
Well, the All-Star weekend is not just for the players either.
It's for you guys.
It's for us too. We get to take a little break, maybe go somewhere and play a little golf. So, yeah, I mean, it's nice to get a break. I mean, I remember as a player, it was nice it wasn't as long of a break, but it's nice to get back in. I know my wife is happy I'm back into it, not her way, but yeah, it's good to kind of get right back into the groove.
Well, it was a break, but there wasn't a lot of break in NBA talk. There was a lot of discussion specifically about tanking. I'm sure you heard it. You may have your opinions on it, but what was your reaction to the Jazz kind of getting targeted and being made an example of with this issue?
I try not to. I let the business of basketball, the people who deal with that. My job is really to talk about the guys who are on the floor, guys who are playing, I think when it boils down to it. Listen, the NBA obviously is part of creating the whole scenario. So we'll see what happens down the road. But, my job is to just call the game as the players go out. I mean, I may have my opinions, but they don't really have any bearing on anything. But, the team that goes out and plays, I know these guys want to win. They want to win badly. And so, look, the Jazz have made some bold moves for the future of this franchise, and I'm one of those guys who trust that they know what they're doing, and the fans understand where we're headed. So that's how I approach it.
Big T, you're in Memphis, of course, for the Jazz and the Grizzlies, and of course, they just made a deal happen not that far away from the All-Star break, and you got to see Jaren Jackson Jr. for a couple of games before he had surgery to end the season. And obviously, the good news is it's a surgery. I think that they were like, "Hey, we feel great about this, getting ahead of it," and he's going to be right back to himself. And so I think people feel good about the decision to be able to kind of take care of that long-term care. In those couple of games, though, what are Jazz fans getting? Obviously, they've seen him here play as a Grizzly, but what are they getting with that guy, and what do you think of that add to this roster?
Well, you're right. Jazz fans know what they're getting. I like everyone else, I don't even know the right word for it. You know, when you can acquire a guy like that who is, one, he's a winner, and I kind of watched him grow up. My career crossed paths with his dad's career for a few years, and I think it just makes a bold statement for this franchise that, look, we've got assets that we've built up, and now we're ready to make some bold moves. And you can't get any bolder than bringing a guy who is one of the best defensive players in the league, a guy who can stretch the floor in his own way. He's kind of an anomaly, similar to what Lowry is with what he does. He's a guy that can guard multiple positions. He can score at all levels. And so I think it says something when you make a deal like that. And that's for the injury. I mean, obviously health is priority. And not that he probably couldn't have played more with it, but why risk it? If it's something you can get done now, we've seen what he can do in just a few games without really knowing the scheme of what the Jazz are going. He's just out playing basketball, and he's going to love the team. He's going to love the coaching staff, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see him be a part of something really, really great.
Yeah, seeing him in a Jazz uniform 3 times before he had to shut it down was really exciting for everybody, and you got to see him up close and personal. What did you see in those 3 games? What did you observe that has you excited about what he can do with the pairing with Lauri Markkanen and the rest of this team?
Well, I think if you knew him well, you knew his game well, and you've seen him enough times against the Jazz, you know how he can punish you. And he's one of those guys that you've got to come up with defensive schemes because not one player can guard him. He's also a guy who, I've already kind of touted it as the Wasatch front court. When you put he and Lowry and Nurk and potentially, Walker Kessler out there to play, it's a front line that is going to kind of shake up things, I think, around the league. So he can post, he can shoot the 3, he can put the ball on the floor, he can pass the ball. I mean, I think all it's about now is Coach Will Hardy coming up with how to best utilize what he does well along with other guys. And I think Will's been really good at that and how to set guys up to be who they are and not limit what they can do.
Big T, Thurl Bailey joining us on the program here as we talk about this Utah Jazz team. We're getting back into action. Going to be firing it up tomorrow right here on your dial, by the way, to listen to the radio call of that Jazz and Grizzlies game. But Big T, we were talking about this before. JJ and I have been going back and forth talking about this also, where it's like, hey, it's awesome to get those great defenders because, man, this team needs defense. It's been a rough go, and I know that Will Hardy wants those guys playing so much defense. It just is so hard in this league to defend against such great talent. But how do you go from being the worst scoring, giving up the defense, giving up the most points in the history of any team at this point right now, and then just saying, hey, now we're going to get this Jaren Jackson Jr. That doesn't solve all the issues. How do you teach these young guys who've gotten good at scoring to be even better defenders?
I think they've improved defensively. I think when you look at how young this team was last year and how these young players have continued to grow, Cody Williams, I think, has made a huge jump. And the reason he's made his jump is because he is focused on the defensive end. Bryce Sensabaugh, I think we all know he has a knack for scoring, but his defense has gotten better because to him, it had to get better for him to get minutes. And so I think the onus on these guys individually to be better defenders on ball has forced them to really focus on that. The offense is going to come. And so a guy like Isaiah Collier, I mean, all these guys have work to do, even the vets. But I think when you go out knowing that defense is a priority, you're not just going to go out there and get the ball, have plays run to you, that you've got to earn minutes other ways. And I think when you add those other elements, like a Jaren Jackson Jr. or a healthy Walker Kessler, it puts more responsibility on you not to just rely on those guys to do what they do, because a lot of really good teams in this league make threes. And so I think the defense starts on ball, and a lot of these guys have really jumped and improved in that category.
After this Jaren Jackson Jr. trade, you look ahead and you mentioned, I'm sure that's going to stick, this Wasatch front idea of that front court, and it really extends the entire lineup, Big T, because you're going to have a 6'4" point guard in Keontae George, a 6'8" two guard basically in Ace Bailey, and then you can throw out 3 7-footers in the other spots. How important is it to have a lineup like that to be able to compete with all the other teams in the Western Conference who are also gifted with size?
It really is important. You know, I think that sometimes, look, the stars in this league, the guys who can put up buckets night after night, are vital. But I think even just as vital are the role players you put around them. You know, you look at what OKC did last year, and you look at the year before. I mean, the teams that win rings are really good defensive teams. And they have the guys that can score. Look, Lowry can score. Keontae can score. Triple J is going to be able to score. But you've got to have those pieces around them that can come off. They're not going to have great nights every night. But I think what happens is the others, as people call them, the guys who come in and play those alpha dog roles, those roles that maybe not get a lot of print, but they're just as important. And so I think when you talk about that lineup, yeah, it's powerful. I think there's no question that it's going to be a great look and it's going to be successful, but it's not the end-all, be-all. You've got to have other guys around that are going to have their nights. The Bryce Sensabaughs, the Isaiah Colliers, who is the past first point guard. And the combination of those guys mixed in with, your high-powered scorers like a Lowry.
I think that one of the things that stinks about all the tanking stuff has been, I think it's at the detriment of trying to develop guys, right? But that's been something that Will Hardy's been so focused on. How do you strike a balance of that, as Coach Hardy is tasked with that, of you got your guys who are very, very good. You got guys who they have to make a decision on what this is going to look like in the future. How do you strike that balance as you put lineups together if you're Will Hardy?
It's tough. It's really tough. I mean, even going back a little bit before that, I mean, the business of basketball is what it is. It's a tough business. Players get traded. I walked into the hotel, and the first person I walked up to was Walter Clayton Jr. I mean, he was just a member of our team. He's a great kid. I think he's going to have a great future. But, the business of basketball is you have to make these tough decisions to get to the ultimate goal. And you don't know if all of them will work or they're right, but you've got to trust your experience and you've got to go with your gut sometimes. I mean, I'm not in that war room, but I would think that the guys in that war room have been there, and you trust that they know what they're doing. And so Coach Will Hardy also has a job to do. His job is to put the guys out on the court to win games and get better and develop players. And I think he's been doing a great job at that. And they've committed to him, for the long haul. It's a tough haul, but I know he's the right guy for the job. I watch him with these players and develop. I watch him get on these guys and talk to them about, improving and putting their teammates first. So, yeah, he's got a tough job. There's no question about it, because he wants to win. Everybody wants to win. And so there's got to be some patience involved. But, I think Will is going in the right direction as I watch these individual guys. I mean, look at what Isaiah Collier's doing. The guy comes out with Keontae hurt, and he understands this league now. He understands what he needs to do to be successful.
You talk about Isaiah Collier, last 10 games before the break, 15.5 points per game, 10.4 assists. And we talk about some of these young players. Who's going to be a part of what this team looks like moving forward after this trade? Who's going to be in the rotation and all those things? Isaiah Collier's made a pretty good case. What have you seen from him lately? The increase in his numbers, some of the growth in his game. What have you observed?
Well, I think what I observed even before Walter Clayton Jr. was traded, there's always an internal competitiveness, right? Guys are always looking for minutes, always looking to break into the rotation. And when you have 3 point guards with kind of different skills, right? You've got a scoring point guard, and you've got a guy like Isaiah Collier, who's a pass-first guy, but he's very physical. Keontae, they look for him to score, and that's his job. But he's also a guy who has learned how to, to distribute. But I think when Walter Clayton Jr. was traded, it kind of opened up a little. I think it made Isaiah Collier kind of exhale a little bit. Now, they were great teammates, but when that happens, there's going to be more responsibility and onus on you, and that's exactly what happened. And you've got to go out and perform because you're probably going to get those minutes. And I think he's just stepped up to the plate. He hasn't hesitated. He's come out. He's not tried to be anything other than who he is. And his confidence is high. I watch him shoot threes now, and he feels like he's going to make them. Last year I wouldn't have said that, but he's become just a more physical player. He knows he's good, and that's the first part of it. So I love the way that he's been developed and the way the coaches have really brought him along.
Utah Jazz first week back into the next portion of this NBA season. You guys obviously down there at Memphis, and then on Monday going to Houston, and then coming back home for the Pelicans. That's the first week of the Jazz coming right back into their own and into their schedule. And Big T Thurl Bailey joining us on the program. We appreciate all your insights as always, Big T, and thanks for joining us on the program, man, and thanks for doing it on the road. It means a ton, man.
Anytime, guys. Appreciate it.
There you go.
Thanks, Big T.
Thurl Bailey. Man, I'm looking at this schedule too. And there you go. Grizzlies, Rockets. I mean, the Grizzlies, that organization,
Can you imagine, if Jazz fans are looking, that's like, hey, you're where we were 4 years ago. Good luck.
That's a long way away.
They're going to have to they're starting now what the Jazz decided to do 4 years ago.
And they're just being told that if you start tanking, you're toast. And they're like, oh, can you wait a couple of years? The Rockets, of course, that's a team that's going to be, they're going to be in those playoffs. They're going to be a force in the playoffs as well.
Yeah.
And then they come home and host the Pelicans for they double dip. They have the Pelicans twice in 2 days over here at Delta Center.
The Pelicans are interesting because they stink, but they don't own their pick. They traded it to the Hawks in this last draft.
What's the what are the terms? Like what's going to happen?
It's
just
gone.
Whatever it is.
It's not protected.
No
it
protections.
Is gone.
I love it.
So the Pelicans stink because they stink. They're not trying to tank.
True bad
They're
basketball.
Just bad, and they got Zion Williamson. They traded a lot of their guys to save money. But my point being is the Pelicans aren't incentivized here. The Pelicans were probably Jazz wouldn't mind letting the Pelicans win a couple of those games. And if you look at the standings, the Jazz wouldn't mind falling behind the Pelicans. I'm just throwing it out there.
That's really wild to think that the Pelicans are like, their front office is going, look, we made some of these deals, and
oopsies.
Here we are. Yeah, and
one of the best drafts of the last 10, 15 years.
No,
and they punted so they could get a player, and it's a good player.
They stink because they stink, but they will be motivated to win because what you do know is if you're the Pelicans, you don't want they're giving that pick. I know it's an Eastern Conference team, but you don't want to improve some other team with like a number 3 pick because you were so bad. Right?
Yeah.
They want to make it look like, we got better value for that guy we traded for.
They
only
made
got the
that
11th
move
pick.
to get Derek Queen, 21-year-old center.
And then
he's good.
He might turn into the number 3 pick of the draft. What if he turned into the number 1 pick?
My goodness. Can you imagine if
they gave up?
Pelicans pick wins the lottery?
Crazy. And the Hawks are at home, just high-fiving each other.
Jeez.
We knew we were doing a good job by getting rid of Trae Young. We knew that we were building this core up, man. Yeah, it's bonkers, man.
Yeah, Atlanta would own that pick.
All right.
Great trade for Atlanta. My goodness.
They won that one.
And the Hawks probably lose. We'll see what the Hawks do. I mean, the Hawks right now are like that perpetual mid-team.
Yeah.
They won the lottery a couple years ago, but it was like the worst draft. But Zachary Rizichet hasn't exactly moved the needle for them. You know what I mean?
Everyone's like, I'm just going to take a Frenchman after Victor Wembanyama, please.
But in this draft, they could get, can you imagine them doing a double win in this lottery?
So what would be
have their own pick, and they'd have the Pelicans pick.
Right.
They could get 2 top 5 picks
in
a really good draft.
What's crappy about this is what happens is the general manager for the Hawks, I don't know who he is, will get all these kudos when they have that happen. You know what I mean? And he didn't do jack squat, right? He made a bad trade, or he made a trade that was that looked very you know what I mean? And then now he comes home, and let's say he gets the number 2 and the number 5 pick, or the number 3 and the number 5
His
pick.
name is Ansi Salah.
Ansi Salah's over here going, please, 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 please. Talk about me like you do Sam Presti. Draw me like one of your French girls and talk about me like you do Sam Presti. Please. All right. We'll take a break.
Do you know their assistant general managers? You'd never guess.
If it's Nico Harrison, I will love it.
It's not Nico.
Oh, dang it. I thought maybe he landed on his feet.
It is a former Utah Jazz player.
Okay, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Is it Mark Jackson or something? Wait.
Of all the people to pick, no, I'm not going to make you guess any further. It's Kyle Korver.
Oh, you know what? Yeah. I mean, played there a long time. I mean, a longish time. For him, it was a long time, right? Yeah, it's a good guy to have in the front office. This is happening in football and basketball now, by the way. Matt Ryan gets hired as the president of football for the Falcons, right after he ends his career there. Kyle Korver. Was he a Creighton kid? I thought no, he's not. Yeah, he's not an Ivy League kid. He's a Creighton kid.
Yep.
He's smart. Get him in there. He knows how to make deals. Come on. And look, if there's a guy who's been around for a few deals, he's been a part of a cajillion himself.
Yes.
So there you go. Okay, we'll take a break. We'll come back. Trajan Wealth brings you this portion of the program. TREJAN Wealth.com. That's Trajan Wealth for all your trusted local needs in retirement. We will come back right after this. Stay here, 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone.
All the latest news and notes from the league and the locals in the NFL. JJ and Alex bring you the NFL Blitz on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. This portion of the show brought to you by the good folks at University of Utah Health. U of U Health, hope is in their DNA. Learn more at uofuhealth.org. That's uofuhealth.org. University of Utah Health, for you, for life. It's the NFL Blitz. So, everybody was wondering what Lane Johnson was going to do. All-pro tackle for the Eagles. He's going to return for his 14th season. And I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? Hanging it up after 13 would be just fine. But, here's the thing. If you know anybody who's going into retirement, I'm not talking about NFL retirement, but I think that it probably is even more so this way. If you talk to somebody who's nearing retirement, yell at them, don't just give up. Don't just say, I'm going to go fishing every day.
Yeah.
That's not a thing. It will never last. I know you love golf, and I know people are out there going, yeah, you watch. I'll be the guy who plays 36 holes of golf a day. But these guys, they don't want to quit because it's like, hey, the money's great, first of all. But do you think Lane Johnson has to worry about what his financial future looks like? Probably not.
No.
That's not why he returned. At some point, you can't give it up because you're like, what would I do next that's better than this? Nothing.
And you're still in your early to
Early
mid-30s.
30s, yeah.
If you can still do it and your family's okay with it, I mean, whatever your circumstances are, everyone has different family circumstances. And, missing some important family things is always going to tug at you. But you're 1% of 1%, the greatest athletes in the world. You get a chance to do that. How do you walk away from it knowing you can still do it at a high level? That's tough to do.
Yeah, but he's coming back.
I love that he's coming back.
Yeah, it's great.
And we'll see how the Eagles are next year. They're kind of in a crossroads with where they're at. Can they get better or not? I don't know.
I mean, was A.J. Brown's situation.
That kind of gets us into a topic that's in our list here. I don't know where you want to go.
Well, I was gonna say before we get to the guys who maybe want to find other places.
Yes.
Don't worry, because the state of Indiana has voted unanimously, and it's still on the table that one of my favorite things that could ever happen in sports might happen. The Chicago Bears could be playing all their games in Indiana.
Oh my gosh, the Indiana Bears.
That's what they'll call themselves. I'll make T-shirts right now. I'm not
building
afraid.
a stadium in Hammond, Indiana.
It sounds as boring as it probably looks.
Hammond. Population, 77,879. It is part of the Chicago metropolitan area.
You know what it has? You know what it has?
It's like Foxborough for Boston. I get it.
Yeah, but it's but Foxborough's in
like
Massachusetts.
Santa Clara to San Francisco.
In California still. That's what I love about it. If the Seahawks were in Portland, I would jump off of the Astoria Bridge that goes into Portland, by the way.
I mean, it's right on the border.
Oh, this guy's over here making it clear where he stands.
I mean, the New York Giants
deal.
and New York Jets play in Jersey. Who cares?
Yeah, but they have for decades. This, to me, is more funny. Let's make some T-shirts, Snapless. Indiana Bears.
The Indiana Bears.
Sounds so bad. You know there's a festival that they have there that has to do with, like, some Polish food, right?
Has to be.
Has to be. Something where, we could enjoy it. Something with some cheese and potatoes involved. Something fried. I love Hammond, Indiana. Especially this time of year. It's not gray at all. Speaking of people who need to find that different scenery, yes. People who need to possibly find other places to go, one of the people on that list is A.J. Brown. Is his time in Pittsburgh or is his time in Philadelphia over? JJ?
Yes, I think so. I think you saw the friction there at the end and didn't finish the way he wanted. I think it might be good for him and the Eagles to part ways.
I thought it was. Now that's going to be a tough thing, because you don't replace him lightly, and
no.
Relationships have to be really bad if you've got a guy who's a phenomenal wide receiver. And he's not. I mean, we're not looking at A.J. Brown and going the character issues. We're not looking at him.
No.
We're not looking at him like A.B.
No.
This is not what we're talking about. It just got weird, and so it's gotten weird. It's a tough situation for them to be in. If you're Jalen Hurts, you immediately your QBR goes down if A.J. Brown's out the door.
Yeah, I mean, you only part with him if you have somebody that you feel can replace him. And the Eagles have had a pretty good receiver core. I mean, Devontae Smith and and A.J. Brown is a pretty good combo.
But that's why it worked, is those two guys were on the same roster.
You can't. Can Devontae Smith be your only your number one guy and your only top threat? Who do you have to replace A.J. Brown? And that's a pass game that's already struggling with a quarterback whose strength isn't necessarily airing it out. I mean, Jalen Hurts has his qualities, but the deep ball isn't one of them. So how does that impact things? It's a team that feels like they're more invested in who their tight end is than who their outside receiver threat is.
Got a local name that's on this list. Did you see it? It's for your guys.
Okay.
They suggest Jonah Ellis find greener pastures.
That's an interesting. There's not a lot of room there in the roster.
That's what the point is. They're like, this guy's
he has
super
a chance to be pretty darn good.
Yes, this guy's super talented. But you're not going to start in front of Jonathan Cooper or Nick Bonito, right?
Right.
That's the whole deal. So, and by the way, how about Jonah Ellis coming into the league immediately and just being good? I mean, it's Taylor's old as time. Ellis boys play some pretty good
3
football.
Ellises in the league. Pretty crazy. Another local on this list, too, as well. Clark Phillips III. You didn't see him at all last season, right?
So he was injured, right?
Yes.
For the majority of it.
Yep.
And started off pretty hot. Yeah, and he was very promising, but
had a triceps injury.
I thought this was mean because they said at 5'9" with short arms. Come on. Don't throw the short arms in there.
Well, I mean, there's a reason why he was as elite as he was in college. He fell to the 4th round because of the size.
Small hands.
5'9".
Small hands.
I know Clark, and he was great while he's here. He doesn't. I can assure you, he does not smell like cabbage.
He's not a
He's
carny.
not a carny.
Yeah.
No, he's...
Well, but look, what I like about this
he
list
needs
is
a fresh start. I would agree.
Every one of these guys could find greener pastures for the sake of the team that they're leaving and for those guys personally. And I'm just a huge fan of guys finding places. I'm a huge fan of guys finding places that fit because there are people who have ended their NFL career prematurely because of the crap situation that the Cleveland Browns created for them.
Right.
Not that I'm pointing out.
Look at Joe Thomas never making the playoffs in his Hall of Fame.
The Jets, the Browns, for a good chunk of their history, the Cincinnati Bengals. So many of these franchises bring guys in and then they go, well, it's just not good. And then it turns out you have a crap staff. And guys, it just feels like such an injustice that really, really good football players, if they would have been on a different team, they would have been all pro in some cases. Or win a Super Bowl in some cases.
There's some more interesting names.
The alien language left the TV.
Oh, we're back.
We made some progress during the show.
A brand new graphic there. That's
I thought
nice.
we were haunted for a minute there.
There's some other names on this list that I think are interesting.
Tell me.
J.J. McCarthy.
Ooh.
Needing a fresh start.
I told you.
He just started.
Oh, a fresh new start.
The irony is Sam Darnold was probably on this list last year for similar reasons where just couldn't get it done. Like, there's got to be some patience, but maybe I don't know. It's hard because
J.J. McCarthy
haven't seen anything that makes me think, man, they've got it nailed. They got their guy. You know, the same draft, the Broncos got Bo Nix. The Patriots got Drake May. The Bears got Caleb Williams, right? You know those guys are legit. They've proven themselves in just 2 years.
Does he play for the Indiana Bears?
Yes, he does.
Okay.
In Hammond, Indiana. That metroplex of Hammond, Indiana. There's guys in that draft that have already proven themselves to be the guy. Has J.J. McCarthy proven anything so far? Absolutely not. But at the same time, if you're the Vikings and you've sacrificed so much for him, do you feel comfortable pulling the plug on him already?
Yeah, but you know what this does?
Jeez.
It keeps the narrative going of what we talked about earlier in the week. Derek Carr coming out of retirement to play for the Vikings.
And maybe you're looking at that if you're the Vikings.
I love desperate moves by desperate organizations because they had I don't even know if the window was technically open last year. They won a lot of games, obviously. They didn't know it was going to be open. Just like the Seahawks didn't know the window was going to be open this year, frankly.
Right.
So that window they thought was actually open. So now they're retroactively trying to stay in the window that they didn't even know was open at that point.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
The Vikings are in a weird place.
They are going back and going, okay, J.J. McCarthy, forget it. We don't need him. I actually don't like him. I hate that guy. Can we get Derek Carr in here? Derek Carr is not going to solve your issues. Ask Raider fans.
Would Tua Tagovailoa solve their issues?
No. Same thing.
That's another guy on this list that probably, I would agree,
Where do you think he
needs to move on because he has lost his job in Miami. There's a new coach. There's a new regime in Miami.
Is that French?
Sure. Where does Tua go? Does Tua have a place in the league anymore as far as a starter goes?
Lots of quarterbacks on this list still. Kyler Murray, they're talking about that guy.
Where does Kyler Murray end up?
I don't know, but
do you know who the new OC is with the Cardinals?
Who?
I can't believe this guy even has a job.
Who is it?
Nathaniel Hackett.
Oh my gosh.
I know, right?
That guy, when you'd watch Hard Knocks, would you look at him and be like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing?
Yeah, it was clear.
You're like, oh, but of course the Jets hired him. And the Cardinals hiring him? Seems like it's perfect.
That is on brand. He couldn't even make it through a year in Denver as the head coach.
That's crazy.
Just an absolute tire fire.
He goes in there, can't make it work after 1 year. Everybody
Him
knew
and Russell Wilson.
Everybody knew he was a fraud. And then he goes to the Jets, and people there were like, I don't know, he's kind of an offensive mind, all right. No, he's not.
He really helped Zach Wilson's career.
Ugh. He is not an offensive mind.
Where does Zach Wilson end up?
He might be done.
Speaking of fresh starts.
He might be done. It's kind of a weird spot for the Wilson family to be in. You got Isaac, who might be the second or third quarterback at Colorado.
Right.
And you got Zach, who unfortunately found his place in bad situations.
Does somebody out there decide we're going to roll the dice on the number 2 overall pick in the
give him a
2021 draft?
Give him a tryout.
Man, there's a lot of guys out there that maybe some teams are more interested in giving a guy a shot because of the Sam Darnold story. I don't know.
Let's take a break. We'll come back when we return. Best and worst. Great time to end that music. I know we planned it that way. 97.5 BKSL Sports Zone.
Wrapping up the hour with our picks for the best and worst moments on today's show. As JJ and Alex want to hear your best and worst of the day.
Don't confuse the two. Scotty G and friends will be at Kenny J's tomorrow, noon to 3. Kenny J's Barbecue, the best we've ever had on this program. JJ?
Oh, love it.
Not even close. This has been some good barbecue, but that one does the trick. The 1660 ranking show is going to be happening there live. Kenny J's Barbecue, located at District Drive in South Jordan, right by the Megaplex Theater. So you can find it right there, and you'll have a great time. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. If you eat brisket, then I'll guarantee it. Okay? Best and worst. LaMelo Ball. Did you see the video of the post-crash LaMelo Ball Hummer video?
No.
I saw the thing. It was like LaMelo Ball's okay after his custom Hummer crashed in an intersection, and I was like, was it a Cybertruck? No, I saw a Hummer. No, it's a Hummer. Go look. Get your big obnoxious cars down. Hold on a minute. Now I'm mad. Okay. Which ball was it? Let me see here. 3 things to know about LaMelo Ball's wrecked Hummer. Look it up, dude. It was a Hummer. Anyway, it was camoed out, and it looks really dumb. We're fighting over. The reason you thought it was a Cybertruck was because the front wheel was missing.
Now, I'm kind of in the middle here. I'm impartial. I'm going to be fair to both of you. Yes, it is a Hummer, but to Napolis's point, it looks like a Cybertruck. It's ugly.
It's a Hummer.
Either way, it's probably a blessing that he wrecked it.
Well, the first thing I thought was, well, he's in a freaking Hummer. I guarantee he's not hurt. But you have to worry about somebody else. The tire flew off. It was like sitting in the intersection.
You mean, was it the tire? Or was it the wheel came flying out of the vehicle?
I want a steering wheel that doesn't fly out the window. Yeah, it was a tire.
Now you know why people are so concerned about the steering wheel flying out of the car.
It was an actual wheel. It was an actual.
Okay.
So it was just sitting there, and don't worry, he'll be available.
Oh, good. I'm
said,
glad nobody got hurt.
If you're getting a wreck in a Hummer EV, I think they weigh 1 million pounds. The other party is who I'm concerned for, not LaMelo Ball.
Yeah, and everybody's okay.
Okay, good. That's also the best, that everybody's okay. The worst, Fernando Mendoza. I saw this story earlier this week, and I was like, oh, my goodness. So apparently, while he was in the transfer portal, he had some interest from a handful of teams, including kind of some soft interest from Georgia. And he was encouraged to call Kirby Smart. Hey, call Kirby and see if he'll talk to you about the possibility of going there. Kirby Smart sent him a voicemail, or whatever the version was. Fernando Mendoza saw it as a sign when the phone wasn't picked up by Georgia that God didn't want him to play at Georgia. Georgia didn't win a national championship.
Probably could have used a Fernando Mendoza at quarterback, right?
Who's the middle-aged gentleman who plays quarterback for them now?
John Stockton?
When you say it, I actually cannot remember. Gunnar Stockton. Oh, yeah. So Fernando Mendoza was a phone call away from being a Georgia Bulldog, possibly.
Oh,
I just love those types of stories. I know. I love
another L for the SEC, where it just means more.
Look, do you want to be coached by a guy in the what type of hat is that Kirby wears? The old ball coach wore it too. What are those
A visor.
called? The visor. You want a coach wearing a visor, or do you want a coach who looks like he might be a sociopath? Talking about Curt Cignetti. Google him if you don't know who he is. All right.
Visors are an SEC thing.
They really are. I just want the top of my head to get some sun, not the sides or the front. Okay, we'll take a break. We'll be right back around the corner. Stay here with us, 97.5 KSL Sports Zone.